And what a day! What a lovely day! Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your post-apocalyptic services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, unless you've had your head under an irradiated rock in the wasteland, you will know that the last 24 hours has produced a veritable deluge, a tsunami of overwhelmingly positive reviews for Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. The prequel to Fury Road. So a sequel of sorts to the original Mad Max trilogy, starring Mel Gibson. And you'll also know that if you watch this channel, it's the event for me this year. I've been looking forward to this for so long now, it seems. Following every little bit of news that was coming out, drip feeding, and then having a phase where I'm not going to look at anything at all. And now things have gone into fast mode. Over the last couple of weeks, there's been hundreds, seemingly hundreds, of American TV spots. And wow. I love the first trailer. I love the second trailer. And I've been watching all these little TV spots. And I go on all the other forums, all the other Mad Max sites, and I know a lot of stuff. I also know someone that apparently has seen it. It's one of the people that has put little comments on Twitter or X, whatever it is, social media. And yeah, confirmed a couple of things which I've been saying for quite some time. But we'll go on to all of that. But the whole point is, wow. I was never, put off by the apparent overload of CG in the trailers. We know he uses CG to enhance the backgrounds of the landscapes, but the stunts are real. The stunts have always been real, and they're no less real and painful in this. In fact, this film is meant to be the most brutal and bloodthirsty of the entire run of Mad Max movies. Hard R rating, and lots of grisly, blood-curdling imagery. Oh yes, he likes that, he does. And one particular sequence lasts 15 minutes. I mean, you know all this. It took them 78 days to film it. 78 days to film this sequence, lasting 15 minutes. But on set, on each day of those 78 days, were 200 stuntmen and women. Stunt people. Stunties. And wow. But when you think about it, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, the last, 12, almost 15 minutes of the movie is the big tanker chase. So that's a huge portion of a film that's 90 minutes long. Now we know that this is the longest of all the Mad Max movies as well. It runs way over 2 hours, and I'm happy about that. But we also know it is not a chase movie. It is different in style, although visually it's very similar to Fury Road, and it has all the stuff you want from a Mad Max movie. But it isn't just a straightforward, over a couple of days, short time period, Max or Furiosa comes in, has a big long chase, and then that's it. It isn't like that at all. This is an epic, almost mythological story. Little Furiosa gets kidnapped by Dementus, Chris Hemsworth, and his biker horde, and then she'll have to fight throughout the biker horde and lots of other incidents to fight her way back to her family, her tribe. But of course, she's going to end up meeting Immortan Joe. And we know what happens there. She stays with him, and she becomes one of his most trusted lieutenants, driving the war rig and all that. And then she's going to formulate a plan to kidnap the brides, his impregnated brides, and drive across the wasteland and try to go back to the green place to meet her family again. It doesn't exactly go according to plan now, does it? But this film is going to set up her character as a prequel and tell her saga how she gets to that point at the start of Fury Road. So, all this praise that's been coming forth, wow. And I'm going to read out, I'm only going to read out one because everyone is going, it's staggering, it's phenomenal, it's exciting, it's a gut punch, wow, you've seen nothing like it. A lot of people are saying that, everything you've seen in all the trailers and TV spots, that is not giving the correct impression of the movie. Now, I like that because the impression you get from everything you've seen thus far is that it is strongly linear and it's action, and chase, explosions, people careering through the air, vehicles overturning and tumbling, across the desert. Yeah, well, you're going to get all that But there's a hell of a big story that interweaves and connects all that together. Speaking of connections and interweaving, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, George Miller has never been fond of doing that. The original Mel Gibson trilogy plays fast and loose with the character and the timeline and everything that happens in between. And then, of course, Fury Road completely rewrites all of that. You've got a different Max, for one thing. But he's not concerned about that. He knows that all the fans want just Max and his interceptor. So he's been bloody a swine to all of us. Apart from Mad Max 1979, where the last, again, 10-15 minutes is the black on black interceptor in full effect. And then we get it in Mad Max 2, but he destroys the bloody thing for us. Damn it, it doesn't even do anything really spectacular until it crashes and then goes kaboom. Fury Road. I mean, it's not even in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, but Fury Road. It overturns in the first few minutes. And it's crashed and then completely modified and transformed into a big, shiny and chrome devil machine, which is not driven by Max. But you know he's not going to give you the little things that you think you want. He's more concerned with bringing an entire, completely immersive universe and dragging us into it. That's what he wants to do. And by all accounts, that's what he's done. And he's the master at doing this. I know, he's in his late 70s now. And we've still got, he wants to do the actual Mad Max prequel. Fury Road is the end of the entire Mad Max saga. But Furiosa and the Wasteland, Furiosa's her story, the Wasteland is Max's story before he gets to the point where he meets Immortan Joe and all the War Boys and all that, and Furiosa. So, but he's not getting any younger. But look at Ridley Scott, who's churning movie after movie after movie out. Every day of the week, he's making another bloody movie. And he's older again. So, George Miller, I know he can do this. And I wouldn't want anyone else to make one of these movies. No one else can do this. All the people who got involved with Fast and Furious and any other high-octane, high-adrenalized action movie, yeah, you're good. But you're not George Miller good. Okay? So, Edgar Wright. Yes. Scott Pilgrim, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Last Night in Soho, which is very important to this. He wrote quite a lengthy piece about Furiosa. Now, again, all the reviews that come out straight away, they either go one way or the other. They're either highly praiseworthy or they're slating the movie. Look at Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. That sort of thing happens. And then a few days go by and then a few more balanced reviews come out. So you get kind of a better idea of what people are really thinking about it. Well, it's great, but there is this bit and there's that, and maybe it's over long, it's blah, 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 blah. And then the premiere comes out, which is going to be at Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival. It's not in the running for any awards. They're showing it out of the ceremony, but they're showing it for the fans at Cannes. And then you'll get more reviews, and then you'll get the actual, the film critics will see it just before we get it on general release. And then you get the likes of me, who will do probably another 10, 15 videos on it in the next month or so. It comes out. It's only a couple of weeks off, So anyway, Edgar Wright wrote this. Ooh, just one second. Cheers, y'all. Even though I understand what it takes to make a film, I still don't understand how because George Miller is a doctor, how Dr. George Miller does it. I was lucky enough to see Furiosa a month ago, and I'm still reeling at how films like his exist. It's so intricate, detailed, and immersive. The planning and love that have gone into the staging, blocking, and design are just unreal. Hats off to George and the team for giving us 45 years of imaginative, visceral cinema. The movie is a feast for your eyes and ears, a full circle to the first Max adventure in 1979. Also, the subtitle A Mad Max Saga is not wrong, as this is a revenge epic, more than a chase movie like Fury Road. The closest comparison was something like Ben-Hur. That's a great comparison, where a long feud of revenge burns for years and pays off with, in brackets, no spoiler, the sweetest vengeance. Filmmakers and fans will leave with their heads spinning. I felt both inspired and envious. There was a point during a midway set piece where I leant over to a friend and said, "How the fuck does he do this?" Now that must be referring to the big 15-minute stunt sequence, which took 78 days to do and had 200 stunt people on hand. And of course the cast is amazing. Chris Hemsworth has never been better. Tom Burke is a brooding, rugged presence, recalling the original Road Warrior himself. That's important. And as for Anya, I'm so excited and proud to see her lighting up the screen. Way back in March 2020, literally 48 hours before the pandemic shutdown happened and the country went shut down, I had dinner with George Miller in London after he watched an early cut of Last Night in Soho, which is brilliant, by the way. I think I've reviewed it. I think I have. I'm sure I have. He asked me if Anya, who's the star of that movie, he asked me if Anya would be a good choice to play young Furiosa, and I responded, do it, she's a star, get her now. I texted Anya that night to get her to expect a call from George Miller, and I'm so thrilled to see the results 4 years later. What a ride you will enjoy. Now, of course, he's a mate of George Miller's, and George Miller and him spoke about Anya Taylor-Joy. So obviously, Edgar Wright's got a stake in this in a way. He's seeing his protege, or prodigy, in fact, take off in a much bigger movie. Of course, she's a big star anyway. She's done tons and tons of stuff now, and she is a wonderful actress, and she does capture that look of Charlize Theron, especially the shaven head, and she's got big mad eyes and a very striking sort of visage and profile. So I've got no problem with her taking over the role. Now, I mentioned there, like, Tom Burke. Now, in a few of the TV spots, I don't know if you've seen these. In the UK, you probably haven't, unless you've been on YouTube. You can see someone is driving a war rig, and they are wearing the Mad Max jacket with shoulder pad, and they have the sort of profile, and they're driving madly. There's all pursuing vehicles and explosions and people going under the wheels and stuff. It's just like, well, any other Mad Max movie, basically. But you think, can't be Max, can it? No, it's Tom Burke, and Tom Burke is not playing Mad Max. And in fact, the jacket he's wearing, if you look closely, it's got 2 sleeves on it. It hasn't got the sleeve cut off, But for a second, even I thought, what is that? Because I've been saying right from the word go that it'd be great if Max played a cameo. You just saw him in the distance. You saw the Interceptor, because don't forget, in this movie, the Interceptor is not destroyed. That gets destroyed and then rebuilt in Fury Road. So it's fully active. But George Miller's not going to bother showing you that. It'll just be like a little vehicle in the distance going over the sand dunes, and eagle-eyed amongst us are going to go, that's Max! Or you might see in some Bartertown type environment, or even the fledgling Citadel for Immortan Joe, you might see from behind a figure dressed in leather with one sleeve missing from his jacket. You might. They're going to do it somehow. Now, I know it's actually been confirmed that Max, and I got this confirmed to me as well by someone I know and trust, because they've given me, and I've reported on this in the past, a lot of films, a lot of big movies they've been privy to see. Jealousy? Oh yes, the little ugly green snout of mine. Yes, I'm jealous. And he's been right about everything that he said. Everything that you're going to see this, or that doesn't happen. So I have no reason to doubt this time. And he says, yeah, Max, there's a blink and you'll miss it Max moment. So hey ho, he's in there. But it's not going to be Tom Hardy. I don't think it is anyway, I doubt it. And it sure as hell won't be Mel Gibson. But wouldn't that be great though? Wouldn't it? But you can just see him in a distance. If Tom Burke fooled people for the brief little shot you see of him driving the war rig, I mean, we knew he drove the war rig anyway, so I don't know why anyone was that surprised about it. But it's just, you can see this, and you're like, even I thought, it could be, no, 2 sleeves on it, bit of a giveaway. And then I zoomed in, I took screen grabs, and I zoomed in, and it's Tom Burke, so ain't no Max there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Edgar Wright's been fawning over this movie, but the thing is, I believe him. I don't think it's just because, like, well, me and George, we're like that, and I got not Charlize Theron, I need to take the joy into that movie, so I've got something to do with it. And he loved my movie Last Night in Soho, which he did. George Miller loved that. He saw Nearly Cut Off Last Night in Soho, and he raved about it. So yeah, the two are like buddies, but I believe Edgar Knight. I believe everyone. I think what they've seen has effectively blown them away. And don't we all want to get nicely blown away when we watch this movie? Chris Hemsworth as Dementus. Yeah, a lot of people there's a lot of people who are slating this film without having seen it. Oh, the first trailer, too much CG. The second trailer, there's still too much CG. The stunts aren't real. You're wrong. There is CG there. George Miller used copious amounts of CG in Fury Road, but only to embellish landscapes, to create a hellish storm, and just to populate different elements. But the stunts, the vehicles, the people flying through the air and landing on the deck and getting crushed, it's real. They're all real stunts. He's prided himself on doing this from the start. The very inaugural 1979 Mad Max, flying literally by the seat of their pants, death-defying stunts. A lot of stuff, people getting hurt. Mad Max 2, again, people getting hurt. Beyond Thunderdome, again, people getting hurt. Fury Road, yeah, magnificent. En masse stunts. Vehicles overturning with hundreds of people on them. And wow. But they're carefully worked out. CGI will add the background, maybe smooth a few things here and there. But the trailers for this and all these TV spots are showing people careering through the air, and you have like Nose Ring Mohawk from Mad Max 2, the one who hits the Dune buggy after Max blows the guy's head apart, like, and I've discussed it. I've done a commentary over the top of Mad Max 2, and I've gone on about the stunts in a separate video. But when he hits that and he goes off his bike and just cartwheels 180 feet through the air at high speed and lands badly on all the cardboard boxes and yeah, seriously hurt himself. Well, you have that stunt is repeated, because I've seen it. And the guys go, whoa, like that. But he's coming right towards you. Now, there may be CG at some point in that frame, but that guy hurtling through the air is real. That's a real guy hurtling for real through real air to land on something really real, you know? So all this, it's just CG. There's no stunts in it. It's all fake. Bullshit. Cheers, y'all. Rant over. But yeah, Hemsworth, with his big nose, the great costume of his, and that crazy, really OTT Aussie accent that he's putting on. It's brilliant. And as not just Edgar Wright, but a lot of people have been saying that he's brilliant in it. And it's almost like a whole new career path he's creating for himself with this role. He's the sort of the evil version of Thor. That's an easy cop out, that, because he's got the hair, he's got the muscles, and he's got a flowing red cape as well. Like, but it is like maybe taking the piss out of that a little bit. You know, the goody two shoes Thor. This guy is a bastard, but he's also three-dimensional. He has got there's a lot of character to him, there's a lot of depth to him. So bring it on, I say. Now, I'm not going to read any more of all this, but it does look fantastic, and I do believe the sheer weight of praise it's getting can be a bit sort of, that's OTT, isn't it? But I believe it. Now, what else did we get? Tom Holkenborg released one track from the forthcoming soundtrack score for Furiosa. And of course, he did Fury Road as Junkie XL, and I love that score. I love Brian May's score for the first two movies, which I've played them a lot, and I love Maurice Jarre's score for Beyond Thunderdome. And I think what Tom Holkenborg's done, he's took elements more of Maurice Jarre, because Maurice Jarre's musical depiction of Bartertown is all clanking anvils and steel grating and just industrial sort of effects, really avant-garde design, and the saxophones playing there as well. And it's a lot more primal than what Brian May did That's Brian May, the late great Brian May, Australian film composer. Not the big bushy-haired guitarist from Queen who spends half his time stargazing. No, not that one. But what he does, I mean, you're listening to this is fantastic. Brothers in Arms. This is my favourite track from Fury Road. What Tom Holkenborg does, he's a master of pretty much every musical instrument you can imagine. And with his studio, what he does, he'll sit in the corner and he'll bash out drums and percussion, anvils and whatever instrument he wants to play, and he'll record them, and he toddles over to the side to his big computer and all his sound systems, and he puts these files in, yes, and he creates it digitally. I don't care, it works. I've heard this score played by a full orchestra, Japanese orchestra, and it was phenomenal to hear this sort of organic sound to it. Really worked, but they got this intensity as well. What Holkenborg does, he's finding the vernacular, the vehicular vernacular, the voice of these vehicles and the carnage, the speed, the engines, the metal grinding, the bones crunching, the speed, the bumps and the crashes. That's what he's doing, and all the explosions. It's very percussive, it's very bang, 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 of course, but it works. And because this film, Furiosa, it looks pretty much identical to the visual style and aesthetic of Fury Road, obviously it will do. Far more so than the first three movies. Although again, I think Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome has a bit more of the look of these two movies, much more orange, but of course the colour palette has been manipulated. And I know there's the black and chrome version of Fury Road, which is also excellent in 3D, of course. The 3D for Fury Road is phenomenal, off the charts, love it. This won't be playing in 3D, to my knowledge, but it is going to be played in IMAX. So wow, imagine that. But the sound, the score is very similar. The one track that he's released so far, which dropped over a week ago, and I got it straight away, but I never got the chance to do a video on it until now. So I'm killing two birds with one stone, basically. But let's listen to this, and then I'll play the new track. So I mean, there's violins in it, but he's done most of this himself, and then just put it into the machine, and then let it work its magic. And he does a lot of tutorials on YouTube. There's a lot of videos he's done where he's showing you how to do all this. I won't be doing any of that. I'll just hum along and play air drums. This is great though. All the music in this movie, Fury Road, is fabulous. Walala! Okay, enough of that. Now this new track is called Dementus is Gaining. Dementus, which is Chris Hemsworth. Dementus is Gaining. Now this, big, deep, clangorous, bombast. Almost a Hans Zimmer. Wah. Love it all over it. We build to action in this. Now I've seen that the full track listing for the score as it's going to be released. Certainly its initial score, whether you get an extended cut I don't know. And if it's going in sort of movie order, which I presume it will be, this is fairly early on. Or is it? I'm going to check on that now. You listen to this for a minute. Damn, this system is so slow. Yeah, I got that wrong, didn't I? This is actually track 14, Dementus' Gaining, so it could be part of that big 15-minute sequence, I'm presuming. See, now we're getting to more familiar territory. It's fantastic. It sounds like an earlier track on Fury Road called Escape. Which I'm going to play to show you how similar it is. Just for the sheer hell of it. Oh, it's seriously. And it rises and then recedes. And you go, this warpy crash death metal stuff. Fuzzy warbling carnage. And then that. Something's getting supercharged there. Oh. There's an epic scope to it. The depth, even though this is put into a machine, sampled and mixed and synthesized, whatever they do with it, there's a real sense of depth to it, which has an epic feel. Vast landscapes, real bone-crunching violence, and big vehicles having big crashes, big time. And that was a big slamming of our big front door. And there's a lot more to this movie, obviously, than just chases. We go to the bullet farm. Sadly, the guy who played the bullet farmer has died, so we're going to see a different version playing him. But it looks phenomenal. Dementus hanging on to some, I don't know, conveyor belt with a deep chasm beneath him and thousands of bullets hurtling over the edge, and he's trying to hold on. There's a great big sort of chimney, and I think Furiosa's shooting at him and he's hiding down. He's laughing his head off. But he's also got a bazooka rocket launcher to fire back at her. So they've got a lot more taking place in this movie. Well, that was Dementus' Gaining. Well, take you back to this moment here. Right? Remember that? Witness me! Let's go. Oh, what's on here? Now here's Escape from Fury Road. And this is basically Max has been captured by the war boys, which sounds pretty painful, doesn't it? And they've cut all his hair off, they've tattooed everything on his back and all that. They're getting his blood type. They put the mask on him, and he's legging it, through the warren of the Citadel. And he's getting all flashbacks to the little girl and the mother that he couldn't save. See, some of that's extended on in the game, the Mad Max video game, which George Miller said, it's canon, it works, it's all part of it. But you'll hear in this that see, you got cellos there. I love classical instruments being used in such a sort of, I don't know, crazed industrial, almost, you know, futuristic style, or even more barbaric style. There you go. See, I love it. It fits. It's hand in glove. Well, I've got my hands in what are barely gloves, but they're perfect Max gloves. It's just great, isn't it? It's searing stuff. So the score is going to fit perfectly into what's now canon with Fury Road. The visuals are going to fit perfectly. The characters are going to be great. You've almost certainly got, well, I believe there's a Max cameo. Whether it's a silhouette, whether it's just the Interceptor in the distance. Because I think, and I said this earlier in the previous video, that she's going to have to fight her way through the ranks. It seems like Dementus will play sort of high octane, high stakes road race games, almost like a fast moving arena, kind of like the Circus Maximus, the chariots going round. Again, Ben-Hur. Edgar Wright said the closest he can think of to describe this movie is the film Ben-Hur. Charlton Heston. Well, there's been several other versions of it as well, but the Charlton Heston one is the best. And I think maybe if she's going to partake in this race, you're going to see another contestant, another combatant, and it could be Max. But again, you'll just see him in the distance. I hope so. It would be just lovely to have that, wouldn't it? Right. Let's also go for... This is Chapter Doof. Because you've got that guy, the Doof Warrior, with his guitar, which is also a flamethrower. He's suspended on an elastic on the front of a rig. He's springing about, flamethrower. Again, the way he uses strings, the cello, the violin, the double bass, and however he's manipulating those strings, whether he's plucking them or actually using the bow, or biting with his teeth. It's where Miller really steps up the gears. You know, you've got the brides are getting picked out by those guys on the big pendulum swingy things. The old girls are pinging off these bastards, you know. One man, one shot. And Max is bouncing from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. So you'll get that in this as well. And yeah, I do feel slightly stupid doing that. See, I can't drive, as regular viewers know. I can't drive. I've never had a lesson in my entire life. In the Royal Marines, they were going to teach me to drive give me an HGV license, trucks, jeeps, tanks, you know. But I steadfastly refused. When I'm in the wife's car, the Kilt-Mobile, and I wanted to drive fast, you know. I'm the backseat driver. You know, he cut you up there, go after him, you know. And I'm like hanging out the window, you bastard. Wanting to climb out and leap on the bonnet of this other bastard's car. She's only going at like 30 miles an hour. So you've got real people really moving from vehicle to vehicle. clambering over it and jumping, you know, which has been a hallmark of the Max movies. Folks, there you go. We've discussed the positive response to the film having been seen by a lot of people now, and they're loving it. So some embargo was lifted. They can't give spoilers away, but they've signed that they can't do it, but they've said enough to get you excited. So take to Twitter, X, whatever it is, and have a read of all these reviews and be blown away. I did see someone who responded to all these reviews on Blu-ray forum, blu-ray.com I think it was, and he went, just as I thought, it's overlong and there's too much CG. He's responding to the people who left their reviews. I thought, where did you read that? No one said that. I went back and reread it. No one said that. But you've got some people, who are like that, so fixated. It's too much CG and it's overlong. I will not be proven otherwise. No, it's true. I haven't seen it yet, and everyone has said the opposite. But I don't care. I'm sticking to my guns. And of course, then they see it. They'll probably secretly love it, but they won't allow themselves to give in and say, oh, do you know what? It was long, but I loved every fucking minute of it. And the CG, smeegy, didn't matter at all. It's great. But they won't admit to it, because haters gotta hate. It just builds and builds, doesn't it? So you've got the guitars there. It must be fun though, just sit there in the corner of your music studio and just bash hell out. And then that's the fun part. Then you've got to extrapolate the sound of each instrument and put it into this file and then mingle the files and all that. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about either. After this, I'm afraid I'm watching Fury Road again. Or Mad Max 2 maybe. See, Mel Gibson is Mad Max. Tom Hardy as Mad Max. Like Sean Connery is James Bond, but Roger Moore as James Bond. Okay. And you just know there's going to be something emotional like this. Let it play out. Alright. This is like the big finale. They've gone back to the Citadel. Immortan Joe's had his face ripped off. And he shoved his carcass off the rig. Well, not the rig's gone. They've got what's his vehicle called? Oh, I forgot what Immortan Joe's vehicle's called. They drive up back in that. Max has given the blood transfusion to Furiosa. I finally said what his name is. Max. Max. Very understated performance. And like, let them up. And they release the water from the twin peaks. So all the down and outs, the desert dregs, and like, hey, the water, hey. Everyone's happy. The war boys are like, hang on, Immortan's dead. And Furiosa and the surviving brides get lifted up, but Max doesn't go with him. Furiosa's been stabbed. We know, of course, she loses an arm, obviously with Furiosa. But she's there. Hasn't got the robot arm on. She's all done in, she's bloodied, turns around, and Max, just in the crowd, hasn't got on the lift, the elevator, and he's just like... And then just sidles off into the... Max doesn't stay anywhere for too long. This is the bit where they make eye contact. It's almost like the parting shot of Frodo at the end of Return of the King. It just goes like to all the hobbits who are crying their eyes out. So folks, this was like talking about the news of Furiosa and playing the new track. But as usual, it just became a big celebration of Max. All things maximised. Even though he's not exactly in the new movie. Or is he? A little bit. In it a little bit. But if you blink, you'll have missed it. Simple as. Right folks, I happen to wish I'll be Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and this ever... Ooh, God, you know, high octane in between time. Please keep it shiny, keep it chrome, and I'm going to see you all. It was Kilt-Man. Yeah, my name is